Coming up on Seahawks today, Darrell Henderson, the former Los Angeles Rams running back, paid a visit to Seattle. Could the Seahawks be signing him to add to their already crowded running back room? Also, Melvin Ingram, could the Seahawks end up signing him in free agency as they look for help with their pass rush? Plus, we have injury news on some of your favorite Seattle Seahawks and when their expected return could be happening. We'll go over all of that and more coming up in a matter of moments. Before we do that, though, quick fan survey. I want to gauge the 12s out there. We have new people watching all the time as we've grown to now over 41,000 subscribers here on the channel. And so with that said, I want to know how many of you have been Seahawk fans for 5 years or more? If you've been a Seahawk fan for 5 years or more, go ahead and hit the like button. If you've been a Seahawk fan for a little less than that, go ahead and comment and tell me how long you've been a Seahawks fan. Look, there's no wrong answers here. We welcome people to jump on the bandwagon, but we're just curious. Let us know as we get started with today's show. Darrell Henderson. I'll be honest, I was talking to Smitty about this. I was caught off guard by this. Darrell Henderson visited with the Seattle Seahawks on Tuesday about potentially signing with the team in what's already a crowded running back room in Seattle. Why Darrell Henderson? Your guess is as good as mine. Henderson, a 2019 third-round pick out of Memphis, previously played for the Rams and the Jags, and we saw quite a bit of him, in the early portion of his career there in Los Angeles. He helped the Rams win a Super Bowl. He had that going for him, but then his career kind of went downhill pretty fast as he's just waiting to see if he can get a call from anybody that will take him at this point. His career statistics aren't anything that really jumps off the page. He's averaged 4 yards a carry the last 3 seasons. His most productive year was back in 2021 when he had 688 yards, 4.6 yards a carry, and 5 touchdowns. But why Darrell Henderson? You know, you look at the Seahawks run game, and from what I've seen so far in the last 3 weeks, is that this group, although they started out kind of slow, they are headed in the right direction. And I wouldn't blame the running backs for that. The offensive line was in flux, and they were still trying to figure themselves out and get on the same page. But last week was a step in the right direction. Kenneth Walker looks good. Zach Charbonnet is coming into his own. You're going to get Kenny McIntosh back here pretty soon. You got DJ Dallas there. I don't get it. But nonetheless, you look at Kenneth Walker, this guy's averaging 4.3 yards a carry. Charbonnet's averaging 4.6 yards a carry. It doesn't make sense. I don't see the need of why you would care to sign him, but we'll see what the Seahawks ultimately decide to do. With that said, they did look at a few other players. We told you yesterday about Anthony Brown and Tavon Austin, but they also had visits with Cody White as well as J.J. Taylor. So some players to potentially monitor to see if the Seahawks ultimately sign or not as far as that goes. So let's ask you about Darrell Henderson. We're a little bit confused by it, as you can tell, but what do you guys think? Should the Seahawks sign Darrell Henderson? It's our pinned comment today. Y for yes, N for no. Weigh in the comment section. Tell us what you think if they should sign him or not. Now, another free agent possibility that makes, I think, a little more sense for the Seahawks. Bleacher Report has named the Seahawks as the top destination for free agent edge rusher Melvin Ingram. What about the idea of bringing him to this Seahawks team? Here's what Matt Holder at Bleacher Report had to say. Starter Boye Mafe missed week 2 with an injury, and replacements Darrell Taylor and Derek Hall were pretty quiet in his absence. Seattle would be wise to bring in another edge rusher as an insurance policy in case Mafe is going to have to miss more time or isn't 100%. Ingram would bring 57 career sacks to the Emerald City, including 6 last season with the Dolphins. We'll examine this. I'll show you my thoughts, and we'll go over some statistics on Melvin Ingram in just a second. But first, today's show is sponsored by Odds Are. Now, let's make one thing clear. Odds Are is not a sports betting app, but what Odds Are is an app that has AI technology to give you the best bets they recommend. It's very easy to use, and the thing that you're looking for with Odds Are is the green values. The green values, whether it's in the NFL or Major League Baseball or the NBA Those green values tell you the bets you should be making. The red values tell you the ones you should avoid and not make. So if you go to oddsr.com/NFL Daily, we are giving Seahawks Today viewers a 30-day free trial if you download OddsR right now. So what are you waiting for? Give it a shot and see what it's all about. Luck is not strategy. oddsr.com/NFL Daily for your 30-day free trial. Tell them that Tyler Jones and Chat Sports sent you. Terms and conditions do apply, and you'll be glad you did. Now, here's why we're talking about Melvin Ingram and why his name has been brought up with the Seattle Seahawks here. The Seahawks are struggling when it comes to getting a pass rush through the first 3 weeks of the season. I think we're all surprised by that. They're averaging just 1.7 sacks per game. It's tied for the 6th lowest in the NFL. And the Seahawks team, as we head towards the rest of the season in 2023, what we're looking at is that you're in a position where you cannot win at a high level in the National Football League unless you have an effective pass rush. Very simple. To the point, right? You have to be able to get to the quarterback if you're going to win in the National Football League. The Seahawks are of the belief that they are in win-now mode, that they can compete with anybody out there. That's what we've heard from John Schneider. That's what we've heard from Pete Carroll. If you want to be taken seriously in this league, you got to have effective pass rush. And basically, here's the deal. Bottom line is this. It comes down to two things for the Seahawks here. If something has to change. Either the guys that are there have to improve, or they got to go bring in another body. I mean, you look at the statistics for the Seahawks right now of some of these guys, of what they're doing at the moment. I mean, it just hasn't been that great. Jarran Reed's leading them in sacks with 1.5. Tre Brown, Boye Mafe, Draymond Jones, they each have one. Jordan Brooks has a half sack, but that's it. So I'm not going to sit here, and I'm just not going to be content and be like, you know what, everything's going to be okay. Either these guys get better and it's a scheme thing, or you got to go out and make a move. And Melvin Ingram is as good as you're going to find out there. I'm surprised he's still available at this point. Three-time Pro Bowler as recently as 2019. He's been a journeyman of sorts. Played for the Chargers, the Steelers. Was a big part of the Chiefs' first Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes and company there. Also with the Dolphins. Played in all 17 games last season, including 3 starts as well. So he's got plenty of experience. And as far as the numbers, the player you could potentially be getting out of Melvin Ingram here, well, look at this. In 2022, had 6 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 7 tackles for loss, played in all 17 games. Year prior to that, had 2 sacks and 1 forced fumble and 4 tackles for loss. Melvin Ingram still has something to offer. So I think it would do the Seahawks a lot of good if they were to consider Melvin Ingram there. Should the Seahawks sign Melvin Ingram? What do you think? S for sign, P for pass, weigh in the comment section. What do you think? I'm all in. Sign me up. I don't think it's going to cost you a ton either. Let us know what you think the Seahawks should sign Melvin Ingram or not. Make sure to subscribe to Seahawks Today for daily Seattle Seahawks news and rumors. We're also doing live shows on Wednesdays, watch parties every game day, and more. If you're a real member of the 12s, then you got to be subscribed to Seahawks Today. You ain't alive if you ain't subscribed to Seahawks Today. For continuing daily coverage, subscribe now for free and hang out with us. Join the family, and we'll see you next time here on the channel. All right, let's get to some injury news. We got some updates on Riq Woolen, Will Dissly, and Tre Brown, of where things stand right now. The injury report for the Seahawks is pretty long, but Pete Carroll called us up to speed on where these guys kind of stand right now. Riq Woolen with that chest issue, he's kind of day-to-day at this point. Will Dissly with the shoulder injury, Pete Carroll described it as wait and see. And then Tre Brown is just now about to begin the NFL's concussion protocol. So that could be a while before Tre Brown is ultimately cleared on that front. Even with these injuries, as much as they've added up at this point, I'm not necessarily in panic mode right now. I think that what we've seen is that the reserves, the backup guys, have been able to step up to the plate fairly well to this point. And when you're short 2 corners, like Riq Woolen and like Tre Brown, then all eyes point to Mike Jackson, who started every game last year, got beat out by Tre Brown. And last week was the first time we saw significant playing time for Mike Jackson. We had asked you a couple days prior, did the Seahawks give up on Mike Jackson? But apparently there's still some confidence in Mike Jackson to throw him back on the field. He played at a high level again. I hope that Mike Jackson continues that. I believe in him, and let's see him continue on this track that he started last week of turning things around from how things went in the preseason. What's your confidence level on Mike Jackson right now? Scaled for me, 1 through 10. How you feeling about the Seahawks corner? Can he get the job done while Riq and Tre are out? Let us know what you think. Scale it 1 through 10 and chime in. OG Seahawks fans that have been fans of this team for 5 years or more, go ahead and hit that like button. If you've been a fan for a shorter time than that, then comment and tell us how long it's been, and we'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.